Hi everyone, Tombatal here. Let's sit down and talk about Star Wars The Old Republic for just a second. Old Republic is a very popular Star Wars themed MMORPG developed by BioWare and published by Electronic Arts last year in 2011. It's a sequel to Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, taking place 10 years later after the events of those games and 3,000 years before the Star Wars films. But enough about backstory. I'm more interested in talking about the game and, more importantly, about the free-to-play option that was released recently. I spent a few weeks trying out the free-to-play option and how enjoyable it is compared to a subscription experience. And pretty much to sum it all up, it's a mixed bag for me. There are good things that make me really happy and want me to continue to play this game. There are some things that really piss me off though. And over the course of this, I'll explain more in depth about what those things are. And first off, you have to come into this knowing that as a free-to-play member, that you're not going to get the full advantages of the game. There are going to be restrictions on you. However, the point of this is I'm going to discuss whether or not this is going to be a deal breaker for you. Whether you are, worth the time invested into this game. It's an MMORPG. You're going to invest a lot of time, whether it's worth that investment or whether or not I'd recommend you only play it if you are paying the $15 a month. Okay, so I'm going to be breaking this review into two different parts. We have the good side, which is all the good stuff about the game, the Republic side, if you will, and we're going to have the bad side, the things that piss me off, the things that are really a problem with the free-to-play model right now. This is the Sith part of the review. Okay, so let's get started. The story. You know what? I should just stop this review right now. I don't need to say anything more about this. I might as well not even mention all the bad parts about the game because the story is so fantastic. The story is the meat of this game, and really that's all you should be playing it for. Honestly, the writing to this game is fantastic. It's completely voice acted, the dialogue in this game. Everything that is said, except for things that are obviously written down and can't be voiced. BioWare put so much time and money into this game, make sure that even if the voice acting isn't 100% spot on at times, it's at least, presentable. And for an MMO, that's pretty huge. That's incredible. Every single class in this game, there are 8 different, well, technically there are 16 different classes, but I like to kind of round them up into 8. You have your 4 for your Republic and 4 for the Empire, and every single class has a complete gratifying story arc that you're allowed to change and make choices in to craft your own character, your own personality, whether or not you want to be somebody that sticks to the law, that wants to, do as much righteously good or destructively evil as possible, whether or not you want to be the kind of character that's a deadpan snarker, whether or not you just want to be in it for the money. You can make that kind of character, and by the end of your arc, I'm not going to try to spoil any characters, any classes story here, but by the end you have invested so much time and it really is paid off because you really get to know this character, and the replayability is huge because of that. So even when you're done with one character, you get them all the way from level 1 to level 50. You can re-roll an alt, and that experience is just as enjoyable. I've played all 8 character classes, and every single one is really well made. And to add to that point, the morality in the game is really well done as well. That is what makes the story so captivating, is the fact that you don't have to stick to your pre-designed, Republic or Empire. You can change, based on your own character, whether or not you want to be good or evil. You can be a Sith that makes good choices within the game. that tries to help people, and it actually does become a lot more interesting than becoming, just like a stupid evil kind of character that just goes around killing people for no gain whatsoever. You can actually change it. Same that goes with the light side. You can be a Jedi who, doesn't play by the rules, that, goes very against the traditional teachings of Jedi, who's very arrogant and, confident of himself. And, you can pretty much play kind of like a falling Jedi, just like Anakin was in the first 3 movies. And it's really, really interesting like that. So potentially you could take the same class, play them a completely different way by just reversing the options and changing how you react to situations. For example, really early on the planet Hutta, you have a quest where a lady begs you to bring back her son from her husband, who's taken him away because he doesn't want the son to be taken away from Sith training, while the mother thinks that it'll make him strong in the service of the Empire. So, you go to track him down before he hops the planet, and you can either let him go and lie to the mother, which will allow them to safely, be able to go along by themselves, or you can cold-bloodedly murder them in front of the son, pretty much just taking out your blaster and shooting the father straight in the chest, while the son grabs him and is obviously traumatized for life.
Your son's going to Korriban, and there's nothing you can do to change that. Tombatal. One day, you'll thank me for this.
I'll go home now.
Being an Empire dark side quest, it's so good. It's really short and meaningful, and you have the opportunity to make it such a brutal moment so early in the story. You have that choice. Your bounty hunter afterwards, he coldly remarks that one day that the son will thank him for doing this to him. And when you return, the lady, she really, really sells you on this. She states that he's going to hate me for this, but I hear that hate makes for a strong Sith. And that is the kind of dynamic storytelling that BioWare puts throughout this entire game, and that's just a low-level side quest. That's compared to a lot of other games where you would be going out at the same level 2 or 3 and going out and killing 10 bears for their hide and turning it back in for some gold. And, if that's just one side quest, just think about how deep and juicy that main story is going to be when you play it.
What was needed.
We better settle up.
Here's your reward, as promised. Ziam may hate me for getting his father killed, but I hear hate and grief make for a fine Sith.
Besides your character, the world of Old Republic is well fleshed out, well told. It fits perfectly into the Knights of the Old Republic world that BioWare has fleshed out. There's a lot of callbacks to previous characters. I'm not going to indulge into who those characters are and how they play a role in the story, but you will be pleasantly surprised if you are a big fan of the 2 previous games like I was. And the movies as well, they have their callbacks as well, to the theming and such. Well, I mean, the games are prequels, so technically it's a call forward, but you know what I mean.